Here with reaction, Georgia Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene. You know, some people talk about, for example, wind turbines contributing to the death of whales and bird life, et cetera. In that case, nobody wants to seem to talk about that. And then you have this toxic chemical mess in Ohio, in Palestine, that we reported on earlier in the program, and I don't hear anything from the new Green Deal climate alarmist cult about what is an environmental disaster by every measure. Why?
Well, I'm not sure. I don't know why AOC isn't dressed in white and crying for the dead whales that keep washing on the beach from wind farms that are being placed all over the ocean. And people are calling the alarms over how this is not only killing unknown thousands of bird species, but also causing whales to beach themselves at record numbers. But the real problem, Sean, is Pete Buttigieg. He's the Secretary of Transportation, and he's more interested in equity and inclusion in his hiring practices and grant-giving schemes and obviously probably chest feeding or something like that than he is rail safety. And that's where we have real danger in our country. You see, Pete Buttigieg was never qualified for the job, and I believe we need to haul him in our committees and start questioning him over what's actually happening in his department, because train derailment is happening every single day, and now thousands of people, birds, animals, they're all sick, and we don't know the consequences of this horrible accident in East Palestine. But we have people like Ilhan Omar. She wants to, crack down on corporate greed when it comes to rails and the privately owned sections of rails. But really what we have to do is we have to make sure that our rails are safe. Democrats passed a $1.2 trillion infrastructure bill, and only $5 billion went towards rail safety. This is a failure. It would have never happened under a Republican-controlled infrastructure bill, and we need to hold Democrats accountable for this, especially Pete Buttigieg.
Where is the money going?
Well, the money's going to the Green New Deal. Over $1 trillion from the infrastructure bill goes to Green New Deal programs. Things like $7 billion to convert buses and ferries to electric batteries. Most of that benefits China because China controls the electric battery in the industry, and America doesn't even compete. You see, they didn't care about infrastructure. They didn't care about planes, trains, and automobiles and our real infrastructure in our crumbling nation. They cared about passing their policies, woke policies like the Green New Deal that only make people like Greta happy and make people like Bill Gates happy, but don't do anything for the American taxpayers and the very important needs of our infrastructure.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Don't you have to, pillage the earth using big, heavy equipment that uses diesel fuel to mine cobalt and manganese and nickel to build the batteries, whether they're built here or in China? That's the process. And the last time I checked, about 90% of our electric grid, which you would use to then charge your battery after you pillage the earth to get the materials to build the battery, isn't that all fossil fuel related, 90% of it?
Well, 90% of it is, Sean. But you see, Democrats want to convert that to green energy. And the federal lands, they have taken more control over all of these rare earth minerals in America and taken it into federal controlled lands. They don't want you to mine those lands. They don't want you to mine for minerals. They want to convert us and make us completely dependent on countries like China, which completely control most of the world's rare earth mineral mines, instead of allowing American companies to be able to mine it right here at home, or just, yeah.
No, I didn't mean to interrupt you. When you run into AOC in the halls of Congress or on the floor of the House, do you ever speak to people that have these views? Do you ever have these discussions in person?
I've tried, Sean. I actually challenged AOC to debates multiple times, and she has refused to debate me. And I wanted to specifically debate her on the Green New Deal. I wanted to challenge her as a successful business owner and an American taxpayer on her ideas that will completely change the way our country functions, not only with energy, but in our entire economy. But AOC couldn't do it. You want to know why? She's chicken, and she isn't brave enough to defend those ideas because they're not her own. They came out of a think tank, and she just put her name on them.
And I'm willing to sponsor that debate and just sit back and watch the show, because that would be an interesting hour. Congresswoman, thank you for being with us. We appreciate it. Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.